This episode is brought to you by CarterComics.com. It's your one-stop shop for all your comic needs, whether it be graded or raw. Carter Comics has got it all. All you gotta do is go to CarterComics.com, fill your card up with all their amazing comics. Use the discount code FREAKNET, FREAKNET. Save you 10% at checkout. Not only on their website, but also at their eBay account. And the link to eBay can be found on their homepage at CarterComics.com. Again, CarterComics.com is your one-stop shop for all comic needs.
It's time! It's time! It's JFW time!
All right, guys, this is the time we get started in the ring with the greatest faction in podcast history. JFW Wrestling, the JFW Podcast, hosted by Travis Stu.
And I am the faction slayer, Nubby, the amazing turtle. I'm feeling a little better.
I'm glad.
So.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I know from experience when I am choked violently, takes me about a week or so, but also I got safe words, so.
That's true.
Yeah. Side note, unrelated to wrestling, if you go to McDonald's, don't use their straws. They're garbage. So. Now upstairs, all match cards, no results this week.
Except maybe there's two little tidbits about Poww.
There's some
interesting.
There's some acknowledgments of Poww that I do want to. Obviously, I think I know which one you definitely want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But RPW Pro Wrestling is this weekend, and we got a huge card to run through that. I'm still hoping at some point today we do get Rion Skills onto the show, as we said we would, to get his side of the story from the refereeing aspect of the main event from last month. So once he becomes available, we'll get him on there. Hopefully we can get kind of like a mindset of why he just didn't ring the bell for, a knocked out Shelley and instead, pulled matches off. And
I think like the big question though, besides that's a very big question, but what made him decide to be the referee?
That's also a good question. That's a good point. Because the thing is too, it's like, I mean, I don't know how Rion lives his life, but I'm assuming he's not walking around in a referee shirt all the time. So there had to have been some kind of a plan. Like Nuke said, he knew Maximus was going to pull something like this.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get all that. We'll talk to Rion whenever he's available. Before let's do that, two things I want to bring up. Get your opinion on. One, soon Fourth Mother Box is no longer Fourth Mother Box.
Yeah,
kind of wild, right?
Yeah.
Right. My favorite part of their entire episode was we're changing the name, we're changing the platform, we're changing the concept of how we do things here, but it's the same show.
I mean, maybe they're gonna bring up more topics and be okay with it. I don't like, 'cause you know how they tend to go off into like say politics. That's not technically, Fourth Mother Box-esque, if you will.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. They're changing the format of the show and the name of the show, but it's the same show. So the only thing that's staying the same is the host of the show.
Unfortunately, yes.
Wild, right? Right, and I do appreciate Tom at the end doing his final thought. Even though, hey, you screwed up the intro of the show, people do. People are human.
Yeah.
When I take my break, Nubby attempts sometimes fails. Pacman's attempts sometimes failed. Hell, I gave Jay a chance to do it, sometimes fail. Even I fail from it sometimes. And I've been doing the intro for over 300 plus episodes. So to err as a human, you think Kyle, being in the profession he's in, would understand that. But hey, whatever. But Yeah, I don't know what the show is. I do know that this weekend I am gonna have the fourth mother box over on this freaking show. So maybe I'll get some more information on what it is. I know they didn't release a name, but maybe I could get that pulled out of them and kind of see how that goes. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited for them. I'm assuming, I guess maybe it's not right for me to assume. I'm assuming whatever show they're going to have is still going to be part of Freaking Out Studios. Not quite sure. We'll have to figure that out. But congrats to them. You know, it's always cool to change and evolve and do all this cool stuff. Right. Second thing, LIM, once again, tried and failed to come at us in this quote-unquote war that apparently we're having. They went the Kyle route, which is good for them, in the sense of just repeating the insults they have to you towards you and stating we have nothing of substance to offer them. So let's start first with, the idea of, for some reason, Gabagool hating you without giving any type of response, calling you a bitch for no reason whatsoever. Let's get your take on what they said from last week, and then I'll kind of chime in on some of the key things that I know Double J like to point out in that little parody of I pick at the smallest things for no reason at all, because I'm about to do that from their show last week. But let's start with you, Nubby. What Gabagool said about you, where you stand with that.
I mean, it's no different than what he said in that vlog. I mean, he's calling myself a soft shell bitch how many times? All because I called him out on being a terrible leader, which he has been a terrible leader lately. Yeah. Like, he failed the court case. He's allowing the Maximus still, in the LIM, and he is still part of the LIM after stealing the belts. Now, that should have been it, right?
You would think, yeah.
I mean, kind of like, like Steve when he picks and chooses his friends on who he's going to help. He doesn't help me, but he helps Shelly. It's kind of like the same thing, Gabagool cares about the belts more than the actual people in the LIM. Yeah. But he still hasn't done anything to Maximus. So now I'm starting to wonder, who is the real leader of the LIM? Is it Gabagool? Or is it the bitch, Maximus Orion?
It's a fair point. I mean, it could be fairly obvious that Maximus is the true leader of the LIM. I mean, for God's sakes, if it wasn't for Maximus and Rocket Pro Wrestling, there wouldn't be an LIM, and what kind of person does what Maximus Orion has done to this fan group, if you will, and still gets away with it? You get Gabagool, who, and I know he doesn't like the idea of being considered just a top fan 2.0, but when you look at the facts that he does not defend his title, even though he said, which I do believe, if I really wanted to go back and find it, I could. I believe there was a point where even Pacman has said, hey, I'll defend his title against anyone at any time. Just nobody wants to step up. Pretty sure the top fan said that, and that's pretty similar to what Gabagool said on this past week's show.
Right.
Hey, the title's always up for grabs against anybody in the LIM.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good to know. No one's doing it. Interesting. Whatever. Just the title defenses he has is either, the belts are missing, or we have to stop because Shelly got knocked over in the middle of the ring. Oh, cool. Good excuses. Solid excuses for you. Apparently there were BS excuses when Pacman used the same exact excuses when he was such a bad guy during the summer. I also like the fact when Gabagool said on the podcast, when he was talking about you and how you, quote unquote, complained that Maximus is still part of the LIM. And he said, on record, it's in the vlog. You guys can go back and listen to it. It's on the Love and Intoxicated Man's YouTube channel. It didn't matter, the court case, obviously, because he said he decides who's in the LIM and who's not in the LIM. The reason Maximus is still in is that's his choice. Okay, cool. Then what's the point of the court case?
Right. Well, if he wasted a lot of time.
Right? A month ago, and the previous LIM video, which is also available on YouTube. You guys go and listen to it. Told Maximus, that if he hurts his mother, he's out of the LIM. So he proves that he could throw him out anytime he wants. He doesn't need a court case. So the fact that this guy's now attacked his mother, attacked his father, went and attacked you, badmouthed the LIM for who they are, somehow stole the belts, as you mentioned, doesn't get kicked out of the LIM. But here's another thing, and I got another question, because we've now realized, again, Nubby, don't know why you're part of the group, but hey, live your best life, brother. I know right now it's out of pride, and I respect that. Why doesn't Gabagool kick you out of the LIM if he has such a problem with you?
I believe that is a good question. I don't have an answer for. I mean, he could kick out anybody, apparently, right?
That's what he says. He gets to decide, as the leader of the LIM, who stays and who goes. Which is ironic, too, because talking to Pacman during his leadership, from what I understood, everything was a unanimous decision. Mm-hmm. Everything was voted on. Everything was unanimous. So now that Pacman steps down and becomes, the sidekick to his sidekick, now you got this new Gabagool who decides, hey, you know what? I'm Italian. I'll just be like the other Italians and just make this an entire dictatorship and say, I'll decide what stays and what goes. But he's not the bad guy. He's not the top fan. Sounds pretty top fanish to me.
It's beyond top fanish. I mean, at least, a unanimous vote that Pat would do, that was a little bit more structured, even though it was still kind of weird, a little bit off at times, but still a little more structured than what Gabagool's doing, because you go from a court case to being able to do what the fuck you want.
Yeah.
What is it? It sounds like really like politics here. So.
Yep. I also liked he mentioned on the podcast that he only cares about the LIM members that are on the LIM podcast, which is great. But he's going to specify what he means. Because if he's talking about any LIM member on any LIM podcast, well, you were on an LIM podcast at one point, so that means you matter. But if he's not counting that, then that means the only people that matter to him is the new referee, Double J.
Which is questionable.
Exactly, because he didn't do the Chethead thing.
Yep.
Double J, Giggle's sister. I think that's it. That was it. That was the only people on that particular podcast this past weekend, right? Those four. So out of everyone in the LIM, he only likes 3 people that were on that particular podcast, which means Chuck Gunderson doesn't count, which means I believe there's 2 security guards. They don't count. You don't count.
No.
Pacman don't count. I get that he doesn't like, Danny, whatever. Danny doesn't count. Simp doesn't count. Their one friend who did the hot sauce contest, he doesn't count.
Right.
Tomfoolery doesn't count. So you have a leader of this whole group, and he likes 3 people out of the entire group, because he can't say he was talking about any LIM member on any episode, because you were there on an LIM episode, which means he has to admit that he likes you. But of course, he's doing what all of the LIM do, and they're using you as a way to remain relevant. Because that's the only logical answer I have for his attitude towards you. Because again, this all goes back to the fact that they weren't on the Power Hour episode that you, me, and Tom were on. Which, if that's what they want to use as an excuse, hey, so be it. But they're pointing their problems at the wrong group of people. Because it wasn't our podcast to invite people on. It wasn't something we even planned. I didn't know I was doing it until I was told last year when Tom was on. They said they're doing it on this date. So I showed up. Pacman didn't show up. You should probably talk to Pacman about him being the LIM representative. That's another thing, too. Wasn't it advertised that show was happening? Not one person from the LIM said, oh, wait, are we supposed to be there, too?
And not one spoke up.
Yeah, not one. Not one said anything. It's like, hey, if Pacman can't be there, I'll gladly step in. I'll gladly be there. No. because Gabagool couldn't. I'm sure Gabagool couldn't make it. He has more important things to worry about, like his family. We know that's going to take, priority over wrestling and the LAM and everything. Double J, maybe he's got school or whatever the hell he does, or some administrative crap that he deals with. I don't know. Sim could have been there. He's the tech guy. Giggles or his sister could have both. Anybody. Any one of these people from the LIM could have said, hey, if we're doing a Freaknet Studios episode, I'd like to be a part of it. Why not? They invite themselves into bullshit all the time anyways. Perfect example, what Gabagool is doing to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because what did they do? Oh, well, we need to find a way to keep ourselves relevant towards the back end of this season. What are we going to do? I guess we'll just have to attack a close friend of ours because that makes sense. That sounds like some top fan stuff there, Nubby.
It definitely does. And you know what gets me is, shout out to Double J for trying to bring up facts. Brought up the fact that I was GM at one point because it, for the topic at hand, it was relevant for what they were talking about. But no, Gabagool's got to be like, no, we can't mention his name. Where have we heard that before?
You mean Podbean?
Yeah. Can't mention Podbean, right?
Yeah.
Or wait, remember when my name wasn't allowed on the Power Hour? What the fuck? What? No, you can't mention my name because I'm that good. I mean, and there were facts. Double J was speaking. So you cut him off. You were disrespectful to Double J for bringing up facts, and I was part of the fact.
Yeah. Giggle's sister thought maybe you'd be a mystery partner against Maximus Orion. He almost kicked her off the entire show because of her opinion.
Right. How dare she not give her opinion?
What's hurtful to me, and it really hit me in the heart.
Oh, it did.
Is what kind of man tells a woman, if you have your own opinion, you can't participate in what we're doing. I thought Gabagool was more open-minded than that. But hey, it just goes to show that if you want to hang out with Tony Gabagool and the lovely, intoxicated men, women, you need to keep your opinions to yourself or else he's going to shove you off to the back. Shame on you, Gabagool.
That's what it sounded like.
100%. You know what?
Disrespectful.
Yeah. If Giggle's sister wants to come on the JFW and have your opinion, I will welcome it. You are more than welcome to have your own opinion because unlike Tony Gabagool, who decides that the leader of the lovely intoxicated men do not respect the opinion of a woman, and for that I say shame on you, Gabagool. Unacceptable. That is ridiculous. The fact that you're going to kick her off the show that had 3 other men on it, unacceptable. I don't think he's threatened to kick Double J off.
No.
And Double J mentioned your name, but when the woman mentioned your name, he had no problem threatening to kick her off of the lovely intoxicated men's show. Shame on you, Gabagool.
Disgusting.
Unheard of.
That's something the top fam wouldn't have done. At least
not even that. Yeah, not even when Pax was a douchebag last summer. Even he, respected women. Not Gabagool go. I get it, man. Hey, you want to be the leader of the lovely, intoxicated men? And you want the women of your group to share your opinion or they are gone. Mm-hmm. I see you. I don't respect it. I think that's shameful. Shame on you, Gabagool. Shame on you.
But I am soft shell bitch.
Huh? You're a soft shell bitch. Nutty. And that's the thing. We want to talk about people stealing people's shit. You weren't being called a bitch until Shelly started calling Maximus Orion a bitch.
Right.
They couldn't come up with anything new. They're just like, what can we call him? Well, Shelly's been calling Maximus a bitch. Hey, I guess we'll just go with that. Just continue to steal shit. I also love the fact that they consider themselves in a war with us, which it ain't, especially from the last shots fired from them was, sad attempt at anything whatsoever. But now they say they're in a war against Nani and the Idolizers because they're vlogging shit now.
If that's what you want to call it. I don't know what that shit they do.
That's the thing. And you know what? It's like they just want to throw the word war at fucking everything and see what sticks. Like, hey guys, live your best life. But maybe instead of focusing on a war with JFW, focus on going to like some kind of like gender neutrality classes so you can realize that women's opinions matter just as much as ours. Because from what I saw in your last episode, Gabagool, is that you don't respect the opinion of women because she thought that Turtle may show up and defend himself against Maximus Orion, and instead you want to kick her off the show. And listen, I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm just basing my opinion on what I saw.
Didn't even let her speak.
No.
No.
Oh, and keep this in mind, guys. If you're over there all pissy, like you can't believe you said that, you brought this on yourself. Yeah, you said bad shit about me. Nubby, before we dive into now, our guest has shown up, so we can kind of get into that. Is there anything else you want to mention about the LAM before we start talking to Rion?
No, I think we covered everything that we wanted to mention about it.
Cool.
It was perfect.
Awesome.
Perfect timing. Thank you, Rion.
Well, I have yet to see Rion do anything that wasn't quite perfect. This
That's why we acknowledge him.
Right? Everything this dude does is fantastic, from being the liaison of IPW to what he does in front of the camera at RPW, from what he does with roller derby and over on the Poww and everything. Fantastic dude. Rion, if you're there, man, hello.
It's like he's still muted.
I am sorry. I'm trying to rapid fire a bunch of different stuff. My apologies.
No, you're good. Hey, listen, you don't have to apologize. I'm not Steve, man. You don't got to apologize to me. You're fine. You're fine. I know you're not used to unmuting your mic and getting the opportunity to talk and everything. For that, I wanted to give you the platform over here to kind of talk about some of the things that were brought up on that recent Power Hour we were on, especially with what I said a lot about your decision on pulling Maximus off of Shelly instead of calling for the bell. I definitely want to kind of talk about that. But Nubby brought up a very interesting question, I guess, to start out everything is. And Nubby, if you want to go ahead and ask Rion your question first.
Yeah, I can do that. Basically, who approached you to be the referee and why did you accept it?
All right. Swinging for the fences. Okay. I was approached by Nuke. And the reason why I accepted it is because, as weird as it sounds, I've been there from the beginning as far as Rocket Pro. And the one neutral party in everything has been Nuke. Whether it's a Civil War dealing with the Shelleys, whether it's Demon Saint, it's always been one or the other, where he has been the neutral party. It kind of keeps everything, keeps the boat going in the direction it needs to go. I've known Nuke for years, so whenever he is asked me, "Hey, I need to do this thing," even sometimes me being reluctant about it, I've said okay, and just went from there.
Okay. I mean, it had to have seemed like kind of a conflict of interest. So, I mean, especially with what happened between you and Maximus before all this, with the attack during the appreciation night, the battles you guys had, taking his championship from him and everything. Like, was the idea of a conflict of interest ever like crossing your mind during all this, or did you just believe that in your heart you could kind of push that aside and call it right down the middle?
If this was right after everything that took place, you can very well say there was conflict of interest.
Yeah.
But even when I had the Inter-County Championship, everything that I said that it was going to happen happened. Just no one listened to me. It's to me, especially when it came to the scenario of Maximus Orion, I can, and as weird as it sounds, I can take myself out of the situation and look at it as far as big picture. For me, it was, while I didn't necessarily feel like I should have been in the actual match, I do understand why Nuga wanted to put me in said match, because especially with what happened with me during the match, I feel like if you had put another referee in that scenario, they wouldn't have been able to finish it. That's just me. And they have a great referee staff. But considering everything that was going on, especially with the way that Maximus has been handling things, it wasn't in the best interest to just put anyone in that position, especially when he's starting to cherry pick who he wants to take out of the position in real time right before his match. So I completely understood what was happening, because I was the backup. They had already had the match already taken care of. I was the backup.
Okay. Yeah, and obviously the moment you're talking about as far as you being the right fit for the matchup is when you were put through the door mid-match. Obviously, I agree with you. Any other referee doing that, that referee's out. And I don't know too much about the referee staff at Rocket Pro Wrestling. Everyone seems like a professional there. But if I was a referee and I saw one go through a door like a untrained wrestler type referee, I probably wouldn't want to go out there and sub in for that kind of spot myself. So that I understand. The big question I have, and the biggest reason I wanted you here tonight, is Maximus Orion put his mom in the Hell's Gate in a legit submission move for the victory. And instead of checking her, because it looked like she was knocked out. Clearly she wasn't tapping. Her body looked limp, like done. But instead of checking on her and calling for the bell, you decided to pull Maximus off of her. First question, before you tell me why you did that, what were you saying to Maximus at that moment in between him putting her in the move and right before you took her out? Because you kind of see in the video, you're trying to say something to him. What are you exactly saying to him before you eventually pulled him off?
Side note, I love the delivery as far as how you worded this question.
Thank you.
Because you literally just had a conversation with me as far as not being biased, only to then give me a biased question. So the idea of going back and forth with this is hilarious.
It's more so like I guess I'm looking for you to defend the unbiasedness part of it, because we all know what happened. To me, it looked like it was biasness, but I know. Yeah. So I'm not trying to like got you in anything. I understand your mindset. I just want to justify the perception that I saw, I guess, in a way. Like I need to understand what the mind process of it was, because I believe you when you say you're unbiased, and I could sit here and say, well, Rion probably did it for the best interest of Shelly, but being a referee calling something right down the middle, it didn't seem like that was the priority, and I want to get that corrected, for the record, I guess.
Okay. And then I'm not going to blur the line because that's not what this is called for, but I will tell you a scenario that took place over in Hollywood Boulevard, simply because neither one of you were there to experience this happen in real time.
Okay.
And I'm going to use your commentary from the actual match itself to better explain the scenario. Okay.
Yeah.
So while because you're talking about when she was put in the Hell's Gate, then this is shortly after she's like chasing him around the ring, and Damon Saint is there, and he's trying to give me directions, and it's a very weird scenario to be in, because up until that point, and this is what people I think tend to forget about that particular match, it's not just opponent versus opponent. you're dealing with shareholders.
Yeah.
You're dealing with like officials, like appointed staff, because everyone, you're not dealing with just wrestlers and managers at this point, because you have part owners of this particular company going against one another, while you have the appointed general manager that was appointed by the idols that now has power through the undeniable on one side, and you have Nuke, who was appointed by the Shelleys, on the other side. So how much power do I actually have? They could very easily just fire all of us.
Yeah, I get that.
In that scenario, like, it's just, and I feel like that gets lost in the translation when it comes to this match.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that going in, because the easiest scenario is just let them fight. The problem with that is that everyone's saying, well, you should do this, you should do this, you should have this done. And I could very easily say, what would you have done if you were me? And I would like to think if they were me, they would do exactly what I did and just kind of let things happen accordingly, to where you have to step in when it's necessary. There were many a times when I was in and I don't want to say in line of fire, because that's not the right terminology, but for this very scenario, I was in the line of fire, and I have Damien Saint saying do something, and I'm telling him, why don't you do something? You're a higher rank. You can get rid of me right now. Why haven't you done that yet? I'm saying these things to him, and he's kind of looking at me because he knows that Nuke is on the other side. So now it's this very weird chess game that's happening, because all I have to do is count 3, 5, and 10 and check for a submission. The problem, and this goes back into the submission that took place with Maximus on Shelley. And there's photos out there that you can actually look at. And I explained this to the people at Hollywood Boulevard when they were saying how crappy of a referee I was. Both of her arms were trapped. So I couldn't check on her arms. Like, you can go back and look at the footage and go back and look at the actual, like, photos. Like, when he has her in Hell's Gate, her right arm is trapped under his left leg, so I can't check that. And there's not enough space on her left arm because of the way that he has her choked in, so I can't check his arm. I can't check her arms. And I'm saying you have to give me something to check, because at this point, only thing I can do is check her feet.
Gotcha.
That's it. And you can go back and look. Like, there is, as a matter of fact, you can look at Take Action photography with Missy Sweeters. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I'll send it to you. There are 3 shots of where you can see that, because normally when you have to check, and Nubby can verify this, there has to at least be something to check. You have to have something. There has to be a limb. There has to be something to at least check if they're unconscious. I can't check her face because he's already got her buried inside of the actual Hell's Gate. And I can't check her arms because there's no space for me to get involved with. So my response was, hey, just pin her. I can't get in, because at that point it's not a wrestling move. It's an MMA choke.
Yeah.
You've already won, just pin her. And I said this multiple times. Just pin her so we can move on. We should be able to be done with this. And he wouldn't. He just wouldn't.
Okay. All right.
Like, there's not a whole lot I can do as far as that.
I got you.
He even went so far as to push me off twice. I actually went in to try and say, hey, I'll try to check something out as far as trying to find a submission, and he pushed me off twice. released the hold to push me away twice, which is why I then pushed him away because he already had broke the hold.
Yeah. Okay. So Nubby, as Rion said, you could confirm this without having an available hand to check. Nothing he could do, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So then let me ask the follow-up question too. So you released him from the hold. If he was to go for the pin, or if he was to reinsert the hold with an available hand, then you would either do the count or check the hand, and Maximus could be the winner as of today.
100%.
Okay.
100%. I actually said that too. And if you go back and look at the footage, I'm actually saying just pin her. You've won the match. Right around that time is when everything went south.
Gotcha.
Because I had, like, literally, you can see it on camera, and I can say this 100% because I just didn't see it. The low blow happened. It wasn't until I saw the replay when I'm like, oh, okay, that's on me. I missed that. And there were people in the theater for Hollywood Boulevard saying, hey, how did you miss that? It's like, I just saw it the same way you did. That's just bad. It's just bad on my part. And I can't even say that I don't have experience like that to not catch it because I've refereed for a little bit. I just missed the call.
Yeah, but I mean, it's what's the old saying? You can only call what you see, and you can't see everything all the time, And like I said, this wasn't me bringing you on here to try to sit here and say, hey, let's talk about how much Rion fucked everything up. No, what it was.
Oh no,
it was, yeah, but that's not why I wanted you on here. I wanted you on here because when we talked about it on the Power Hour, it seemed like you wanted to respond to it, but we just kind of that podcast was so long, we never gave time to a bunch of things. But I know that there was a moment that I had to know the answer to what was going on, and the biggest reason to have you on here is to understand the mindset of pulling him off rather than going for it. And I'm not a trained referee. I'm barely a trained wrestler from a decade ago. So knowing that stuff, now I'm educated on it, and now I know. And my memory is shit. Nubby could tell you that. I have no idea what I said on commentary. So if I questioned your refereeing at that point, I apologize now for it, because from my perspective, it just looked like you were trying. From what I saw, was you basically saying to Maximus, "Come on, man, let your mom go. Come on, man. Okay, you're not gonna let her go. Pull off." And that's what I commentated on from my perspective, because that's what I saw. But
But that's just it. I very much kept reminding him that is your mother.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I get that you have beef right now, but that's still your mom. Like, every time that I got a chance to talk to him and say, hey, just end the match, because let's be real. I think we all can agree that he won that match as soon as he put in the Hell's Gate. It was just bad positioning on his hand.
Mm-hmm.
All he had to do, at the very least, if he wanted to, was just turn the other way, and I would have been able to check on it, and that would have been the end of it.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of happenstance to where I wasn't able to check it. If he had turned to his right instead of his left, we would have a different conversation right now.
It's different. It's weird to see that when Maximus was on the Power Hour on the Love and Intoxicated podcast last month, he said that he didn't want to go into a match and strike his mother unless he was struck first. And it's weird to think that a guy who had that mindset going into a match didn't have the wherewithal to find a way to end that same match. Because it got to a point now where it's like, if you're telling him, hey, readjust her, let me get a check, and he's like, it's almost like there's a rage in that. Like, there's not, he's not using a logical sense. Yeah. So looking at everything, I can respect what you did, because if you didn't stop, who knows what could have happened to Shelly at that point.
And that's as bad as it sounds. That's why I ended up getting hit. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Now,
I don't in other circumstances, hell no, I wouldn't be. But in that scenario, especially if I'm there to do a job and be neutral, that is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I would much rather it be me than Shelly. and everything worked out as far as her not having to deal with this particular scenario. But if I was in that position again, especially knowing the scenario now, I would say yes all over again, just for there to be a chance of just a neutral ground being there.
Gotcha. Let me ask you a couple more questions. Just
Okay.
yeah, just based on your years in the business, and I'm sure you've dealt with, bookers and owners and stuff and everything. And they're all hypothetical questions and everything. So you said you knew Nuke for such a long time now. We have Nuke, he has total control of Rocket Pro Wrestling. Why do you believe Nuke has yet to hire Nubby back or lift Nubby's suspension? I guess Nubby's not fired; he's suspended. Why do you think Nuke hasn't lifted Nubby's suspension yet?
Can I answer that question with a question?
Sure.
Mr. Nubby?
Yes.
Has Nuke approached you in person yet?
So, we have talked. Now, I can't speak on everything that was talked about. And it's not so much legal standpoint, it's more of a respect for the owner, and has advised me to not speak on it.
So you haven't met him in person? You have not physically been in the same area together yet?
Not since Resolution.
Okay, I just want to make sure that you, other than you being in the same building for Resolution, since then you have not been in the same area as Nuke, physically.
Correct. Physically.
Okay. To answer your question, Mr. T, I think, and this is just me, I think that if he's going to bring him back, he would much rather do it in person to him directly as opposed to an email or a call or something of the sort, especially if he has the respect that I think he has for him. I feel like he would much rather have a conversation with him straight up as opposed to him finding out through an email or through a text. That's just me based on how I've dealt with Nuke or how the dealings I've had with Nuke in the past. I feel like he's just waiting to talk to him in person.
Okay, so not to get Nubby's hopes up or any fans out there listening, but there could be a possibility we could see a reinstated Nubby this coming Saturday at Rocket Pro Wrestling. Possibility, not saying it's definite, not getting anyone hopes up, but there's a strong possibility that could be.
Well, there's only a couple days left, and I do know that they have a lot of stuff they have to get through in a short amount of time.
Of course. Another question I got for you is, we've seen the collaboration of the Undeniable, involvements, attacks, so on and so forth. What is preventing the Rocket Pro locker room from joining together against the Undeniable with the strength and numbers that we have seen with, obviously, the tag match between Joey and Roxy and Steve and Shelly, a couple of season finales ago? We saw the locker room come together in that. Why haven't we seen that happen recently with all the Undeniable attacks and title possessions and all that? Like, what's stopping the locker room at this point?
Me personally, I feel that, and this is going to be a very weird thing to say, I feel like there isn't a person in the locker room that has been dubbed the leader, so to speak, when it comes to striking a blow to the Undeniable. Because when it comes to the Undeniable, it's always Damon Saint. It's just what it is. It's always been there. Doesn't matter who's undeniable, who's not undeniable, because it has constantly shifted since the inception of him having power in Rocket Pro. From the days as far as when they had the Rocket Pro Wrestling and the IPW Chicagoland Championship there. Just like the roster that he has as far as Undeniable from 2 seasons ago has shifted and morphed and evolved into what you see now. And it's hard to have someone say, okay, I'm going to fight everything no matter what the change is. Because one thing when you had the idols, you knew who the idols were. They were always in your face. They were always there. You knew what was happening. This is different. There's no telling who's undeniable. People thought I was undeniable for a little bit. And all I did was tell the truth about what was happening in the locker room. I saw it. I came on here. I came on I came on Windy City and talked to them. I had went on the Poww Hour and talked and said, hey, this is what's happening in your locker room. To Maximus. Only for Maximus to be on the other side of the fence. Yeah. It's just a matter of there's no clear-cut person that Rocket Pro as a whole has said, hey, we're going to fight behind you, because the moment that you do that, they could be undeniable. So when you have that scenario, who do you trust? How do you present something of the sort?
Well, that's a good question, and it actually brings me to a final question now that I have.
Okay.
Why not you lead that locker room then? We look at your history with the Undeniable. You fought for the championship in the main event. You got attacked by the Undeniable a while back. You have claimed not to be undeniable. I think you've proved that pretty obvious to the wrestling world that you are not undeniable. You're a veteran, a legend in the business. I mean, to me, you're a locker room leader already. Why not Rion leading the charge against the Undeniable?
Well, the honest answer is because no one wants to listen to Rion until it's too late.
I listen to you.
That's just kind of how it works. It's just what it is. I can give you cryptic messages. I can give you a flat out answer, but no one wants to listen to old man Rion until it's absolutely too late, until it affects them directly. It's no different than, and I always like this is just a weird quote, but it's funny to me. It's always gonna be funny to me. Dave Chappelle, in one of his stand-ups, said everything is funny until it happens to you, and that is 100% true. And unfortunately, when it comes to Undeniable, everyone has a blind eye. I've said all of last year when everyone hated me because I was kicking people in the balls and slapping people and just getting in everyone's face. I never ran. I never backed down from anybody. I just told the truth. And even to a fault where I would take my lumps and go. But no one wants to do that now. Everyone wants to be in a clique. Yeah. Everyone wants to fight the fight until it comes time for the actual fight to take place, and then they run away. No one really wants to do that right now. And as bad as this is going to sound, right now, unless you have someone that can be recognized as a symbol to fight, I don't see that happening on my end. Because I've been down this road before. Did it with the idols. And it wasn't until they took me out where they decided to even attempt to go at it. And I don't really feel like dealing with the idea of being taken out. That happened years ago. That was pre-pandemic. We have past that now.
Yeah.
And five years has gone by, and the nature of the beast has changed. The actual beast has changed. If I have to, I will, but I prefer not to. As Steve Aaron has said during commentary, I am the reluctant hero. I'd rather not be that because they normally die in movies. And I kind of want to stay around for a little bit in some sort of capacity.
Yeah. I always saw it as, and I think I may have either said on commentary or on one of the podcasts or something like that, but I always saw it as like it just got to a point where the undeniable, I guess depending on who you are, is either bringing out the worst in people, or I think when it comes to Aaron Stone, almost the best. Because Aaron Stone had a lot of issues with the undeniable, and up until recent, like it seemed like he was attempting to fight off the undeniable without the backup or success of hopefully somebody joining his side. And then it finally seemed like Aaron Stone has become the Aaron Stone of the IPW era, where he's coming in and he's ruthless, he's aggressive, and what we saw in the match that he won that championship in is it looks like he's going to go to any length to win, which he did, maybe not unfavorably, but did end up becoming champion. Well, now he's all for Aaron Stone. Shaq Jordan, same thing. He had issues with the undeniable, and now we got the worst of Shaq Jordan, and now he looks to be taking out Gunner Brave. And it's wild because it seems like the whole concept of like if you can't beat him, join him, looks like that's what Maximus did. But a lot of these guys are almost like, hey, if you can't beat him, focus on something else. I do understand what you're talking about, like a locker room hero. I can understand why you don't want to be that guy, but I don't know anyone else in that locker room who might be willing to even do that, especially with you look at Shogun, who's dealing with Grin, Marche Rocket, haven't seen him since Joe Hendry. Nubby's suspended. You could say Steve will be willing to go up there and everything, but I think you need somebody who's willing to stand the fight, not take it in order to be that leader.
Oh, you have that already. That's Nuke.
Yeah, but when was the last time Nuke had an actual match in the ring?
When's the last time Damian Saint had one? You're not dealing with wrestlers at this point. You're dealing with power. That's completely different. That is completely different type of conversation that you're having. It's one because you can put wrestlers in front of each other and go from there. It's kind of like if you look at like Captain America: Civil War. Mm-hmm. You can constantly have all of these people in front of you, but the overlying issue is paperwork.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what you're dealing with right now is you're dealing with paperwork. You're dealing with legalities. You're dealing with someone that is taking liberties as far as how to make certain matches happen in their favor. Mm-hmm. No wrestler is going to fight that.
Okay. You
need someone to at the very least negate that to where it's equal on both sides. Then you can go ahead and have a leader or a beacon or however you want to put it. You can have someone on the front lines doing this thing. But until Nuke actually gets things in order, mm-hmm. you trying to find a leader is not going to help because they'll just go down like everyone else. That's what's happened this entire time during Undeniable. Every person that you could think could go in front of the Undeniable has gotten shot down, myself included. I made Steve Michaels bleed the last time I was in front of him, and it wasn't enough. Like it's you can only do so much when it comes to that because once you have the paperwork to back you up or back up your actions, you can only do so much.
Mm-hmm. I got you. Well, we're going to run through the match card here, Rion. I do appreciate you coming on and kind of telling your side of the story, the situation that happened at last month's Rocket Pro. Before I say goodbye, before Nubby gets to say goodbye to you, let me ask you one more question, unrelated to Rocket Pro Wrestling. Just one more, I promise you, and I hope there's an answer to it. When will we see the next IPW show?
Don't know. You will have consistent showcases. I honestly don't have an answer for you.
Gotcha.
I know there are people that have tried to ask me, and I'm going to tell you the same thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It is not up to me. And it's not even up to the actual board at this point. It's up to the veterans at the VFW as far as getting that stuff in order. I am very, I don't want to say positive. I'll just say that I am very positive that IPW will be back. But if you're asking me on a time frame, I cannot give you one. You're just going to have to deal with seeing them during pre-shows and seeing IPW literally everywhere as far as their talent is concerned, because they are spread out right now.
Honestly, Rion, I'd rather take a TBD over never. So, so I'm excited for when it comes back.
No, you're not.
Yes, 100% I am.
No, you're not.
100% I am.
No, you're not.
100%.
And you can be excited for it, and I can guarantee you won't be there. So it's totally fine.
Listen, when I can make the shows, I am there. And listen, if I wasn't interested, I wouldn't have asked. But I am interested. I mean, I like. Listen, for those who don't go to IPW, first off, it's great matches. There's great stories involved in it. The thing is, and I don't know the higher powers above IPW. My level stops at Rion, the liaison. You went back to you had a different title at one point, but I mean, to go there and like at one point you had different guests, hosts. Me and Nubby were at one point. The fact that there are wrestlers who come from Wrestle League, ARW, RPW, and you get a different side of them from like a different aspect. It's a unique concept that IPW does that other people don't do. You give opportunity, not you, IPW gives opportunities to people that you don't see happen too often. I mean, hell, Nubby wrestled the RPW Heavyweight Champion at an IPW show. Steve wrestled Aaron Stone at an IPW show. C-Red, before he retired, had an opportunity to go into a Royal Rumble or a Rumble to get an opportunity for the IPW's biggest title. So, yeah, listen, you can't say that I'm not interested because, I mean, when I get there, I enjoy the hell out of the shows and everything. Sundays are sometimes a little bit difficult, with church and stuff like that and everything. But if I find time to go, man, I'm there. I'll sit next. Pacman annoys the hell out of me, but I'll still sit next to him and watch wrestling. It's a blast, and that's what I said. Like, because then you get guys like the workhorses. It's like, yeah, they're annoying as hell, but they're entertaining as hell. Muggsy James, you get the talent in there that are going to showcase here. That say, hey, listen, you may see them here, and here, but they come here for a reason. And that's why IPW is a great place. And again, Sunday afternoon for people, it's a perfect opportunity to get out and watch wrestling if you can't make it a Saturday night or you don't want to go out too late on something on a Sunday. So 100%. I look forward for IPW to come back because 2025 is my year of shows, and I plan on going to every single show that we talk about here this year in 2025, but I definitely want to get to IPW as often as possible. So I look forward for it to come back and everything and see what they have in store, and especially now that the workhorses are no longer the workhorses, to see what happens to them.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how that plays. Like just a lot of stuff playing out because it's been a couple months since IPW has officially had a show, and a lot has changed as far as the Midwest scene. Not just with the organizations that you mentioned, but you have guys like Paragon and Jean Paul Lemizable, and Soul Taker, and Marche, and it's just a bunch of people that have not. They're all doing a bunch of different stuff. So it'll be very interesting. Or I'll be interested to see as far as one, how they'll respond with the time away, and two, exactly when the actual scheduled events will be. But once again, that unfortunately is out of my hands because I can only give you information. I can give you an idea. Hopefully it'll be sometime in the spring.
Okay.
But I also wouldn't bank on it because I'm just saying things. But unfortunately, when you say things on the internet, it's always true. So
it's going to circulate now. Dude, IPW's come back in spring. That's going to circulate now, man. So
yeah,
there we
and
go.
the funny thing about it is when it doesn't, they can always come back to you and say that you were wrong.
Oh, I know what I'll twist in some way where it makes sense. I know what I'm doing. But yeah, it's just one thing. I'm a firm believer if you put it out in the universe, it's going to happen. So if we sit there and say IPW's come back in the spring, hey, you know what? Spring is what? April, May, June. So we got 3 to, if you include March, 4 months for it to come true. So I look forward to seeing it again. And I know Nubby's looking forward to see it again. I know he has some unfinished business with some dude in a pizza box.
He needs to worry about his suspension getting lifted before he starts worrying about pizza boxes floating around.
Good point.
Rion, thank you again for coming on, man. I'd appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you. Hopefully you're there Saturday. If not, I hope to see you next time I see you.
All right. You guys have a good one.
You too, man. Take care.
Later.
Always good to talk to Rion.
Yeah, very informative.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I wasn't bringing him on here just to be like, okay, let's get this motherfucker. Like, no, Rion does what he does for a reason. There's always a reason why Rion does something. So to see him pull Maximus off of Shelley, yeah, from my perspective, it's like, come on, man, what are you doing? But he justified it. So now we know the moron screwed himself out of his victory. So,
yep.
Again, pettiness fucking rears its ugly head. But that happened last month at Rocket Pro Wrestling. Let's talk about what's happening this month at Rocket Pro Wrestling.
You know what? I am going to tell you what is happening this month at Rocket Pro Wrestling.
Solid segue.
So Rocket Pro Wrestling presents Cupid's Carnage, not Cupid Chaos. Or
you mean Christmas Carnage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you ain't got the cheat sheet this time because Pacman is obviously not here. He slipped on popcorn, thanks to Kyle. But
he's
that's
got out of the bathroom, so
yeah. He might be back in the bathroom after that.
I believe it. I believe it.
Licking his wounds, but I think Kyle's helping him right now. So
I heard he fell ass first onto a plunger.
I believe it.
I believe it too. It's Pacman after all.
Yeah, and the plunger is Kyle. But nonetheless,
100%.
So yeah, it is Cupid's Carnage. It is this Saturday, February the 8th. See, I can say that now. February the 8th.
That's right. 20 to 4th.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. 700 Theodore Street in Joliet, Illinois. Doors open at 4 p.m. Bell time is 5 p.m. Front row is $25. General admission, $20. No advance tickets, all at the door. All right, and we mentioned IPW. The pre-show showcase is returning to Cupid's Carnage, at Cupid's Carnage, and it will be for the Second City Championship as Marcelo Spade, the champion, takes on Kenny 9.
I'm sorry, I was dying there. Kenny who?
Kenny 9.
Kenny 9. Okay, that sounds new. That's new to me, anyways.
He's been at IPW a bit, off and on. Probably not when you were there, so you wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. Dang you, Jesus.
And I guess we'll jump right into the main card. And you know what? This will most likely definitely be the main event and probably match of the night. It is the loser leaves no holds barred match as Shaq Jordan takes on Gunner Brave.
And, and it's I forgot who said it, but it's definitely something where, and I think it was on the Power Hour. Nobody wins in this matchup.
No.
Obviously, you see Gunner Brave, who I think maybe it was on the Logan Toscane podcast. Fans lose regardless. Shaq Jordan.
They win and to a point where it's going to be a great match. But they lose because one of them is going to lose.
They're going to be gone.
And leave.
Yeah, and you know what? It sucks. Damn it. It sucks that, Gunner's going to leave. It sucks that the guy who built Joliet, apparently, or whatever the fuck they say, Gunner's house, which never makes sense to me. I don't think dude pays a mortgage on it. He's going to be gone. Because I think if you really look down into it and everything, I don't think Gunner could take the personal out of this matchup. I think Shaq has already done that. I think Shaq looks at I'm going to shut you down in a professional wrestling match, where Gunner I think is going to go into it as a personal fight. and I think his emotions are going to get the best of him, and that's going to cause Shaq to pick up the victory and send Gunner on his way.
I don't know about that because it's a no-holds-barred match, and we know when Gunner Brave wrestles on a Cupid's Carnage, it's always no-holds-barred, and it's always in his favor.
Yeah, but has there ever been a match this personal going into it? I know he's had personal fights. I know the not Dillinger, but the one before that. I know that one was
Brooks Burna. I believe that one was personal.
Yeah, that one was personal. Is it as personal as this in Shaq, though?
This is a little bit more personal. I give you that.
Yeah.
But it's home field advantage for Gunner.
Yeah. But we'll see. Like I said, I don't think his mindset's on the fact that it's going to be a match. I think he's going to get a little too aggressive at times. I think it's going to make him not think straight for a moment, and there's going to be that split indecision that's going to give Shaq the victory in that matchup.
He never really thinks, though.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Either way, I'd hate to lose either one of them.
100%. 100%. I 100% agree with you.
I mean, I prefer Gunner to stay, but it's fine. For the Zero Gravity Championship, we have Aaron Stone, who just won the championship at Resolution, takes on Devin August. Was this the same thing? Because what has Devin August done to earn any kind of title shot lately?
To me, it just seems like a way to try to get the belt back. Because normally it'll look like it'd be some kind of punishment, especially seeing what Stone did in his match to win the belt. Nothing against August, but I think he must have pissed Saint off in some aspect because this almost seems like a punishment more than an opportunity. Especially what we see Stone, how he's been lately, and a lot of that you could blame on Steve for pushing the buttons of Aaron Stone. Regardless if he's saying he's just doing it to motivate him or not, like it doesn't matter. You keep poking a tiger with a stick to get him to move, he's gonna bite your ass. So.
Steve is definitely one for poking.
Yeah.
Steve loves to poke that bear. He pokes the lions, the tigers, the bears. Oh my.
Do you think Rion appreciated being able to speak his mind without being interrupted constantly?
I bet that was different for him.
But, right. Because I can feel like him pausing at certain points, expecting the heavyset dude with glasses to interrupt him. I did not. I did not. I think Stone's gonna take his title, and it's gonna be pretty quick and easy. Retain his title pretty quick and easy because, like I said, he's in a different mindset now. It's IPW Stone. He's back, and he's gonna mess some people up.
That is true. Speaking of messing people up, we got a Bags of Tricks match.
I know.
Logan versus Grin.
I know that the LIM kind of talked about with it. So was it 4 bags and 4 corners, and each bag has a random thing in it? That's okay. Interesting. We'll see. The LIM pointed out. Now, I will give credit where credit's due, regardless of the fact that they're idiots or not, but you do got to factor in the fact that Sinister was kicked out. We haven't seen him since. There could be some payback coming at a certain point. Machine, obviously, a factor in this matchup as well. So it's definitely going to be really hard because who knows who's going to be there for Shogun? Who knows who's going to be there for Grin? Is it going to be one-on-one? I hope so. Doubt it, though.
Now, because no matter what, you got the ringmaster out there.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and he's a big pain in the ass. And you could tell him I said that because I'll tell him to his face.
Well, I'm sure he listens to the show. If he doesn't.
Well, then you know what he could do.
That's right.
Well, I'll tell him to do that anyway because it's ringmaster, and I've been telling him that for a long time. So.
Oh, yeah.
We have a triple threat inter-county championship match. as Jesus Desafio, the champion, will be taking on Corey McHenry and Disco Ray.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Disco and Corey lucked out on the fact that because they both, because of the double pin submission going, they're lucky that Nuke came out and corrected Saint and made it a triple threat rather than just no title being defended. Great opportunity for both dudes, though. I mean, was that Disco Ray's first singles match was last month?
Yeah.
Yeah, Corey, obviously, he did the IPW showcase and everything. So, I mean, they're definitely out there to kind of prove to people that they're meant to be in Rocket Pro Wrestling. We've seen them show up at Frontline Pro, Wrestle League, IPW. RPW is a different breed, different production, different fan group. Obviously, I think they love both guys out there. So the Starfield is going to have to try to figure out a way to beat both men because I think they're going to be focusing on him as a champion rather than focusing on each other. Yeah. But, of course, Undeniable still looming somewhere. I'm assuming Jay Beck might be out there as well. So.
Yeah, I know Frank will definitely be out there trying to find his Thin Mints.
Right, throwing canes across the room for some reason.
Which, by the way, speaking of Thin Mints, Girl Scout cookies will be available this Saturday.
Yeah, how much are they? Like $9 a box now?
Probably in the arm and the leg.
Yeah. Yeah.
So make sure you get your Thin Mints before Frank does.
Actually, exclusively buy Thin Mints. All the Thin Mints.
Yes.
Make him get stuck with those Do-si-dos or some bullshit cookie.
Or he has to just go to Captain Dave's Galley and get those corn franks.
I kind of want a corn dog, 100%. What do you dip your corn dog in? I think we've talked about this before, but I can't remember. Ketchup, right? Mustard? Mayonnaise? What do you do?
I switch between barbecue sauce and ketchup.
Ooh, barbecue's a good choice. Yeah, I go mustard. Straight up mustard.
Although, I do want to try the garlic ranch I have.
You know what would be really good? Like a corn dog, but instead of a hot dog in it, it's like chili.
I'm not a big chili fan, but
I love a good chili with like cornbread. Right? Like a chili dog, like corn dog thing. Come on now. Hell yeah. Yeah. I'm this size for a reason, brother. This is what I live with. Hell yeah.
Well, speaking of big sizes, BOW is making his return this week. What he will be doing, will he be a factor in the show? I have noticed that the heavyweight champion doesn't have a match. Will he challenge the heavyweight champion?
I mean, that's a strong possibility. I mean, obviously we know BOW has a relation with the Scumbag Army, with Flywheel and Youth Gone Wild. He could be very well there just to be a backup against the Freebirds because we know Freebirds now have contracts for RPW. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it could just be some extra muscle, But, hey, a title opportunity between BOW and Michaels wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, he is champion. He claims to be a fighting champion. What would, why take a day off?
Right. I mean, he was on vacation last year.
Yeah.
I mean, you have one match so far this year, and what? You take a vacation already? What kind of champion are you?
Taking a break. Yeah.
I mean, I guess Machine really beat your ass. Or are you just afraid that maybe Myra Carras will show up to kick your ass?
That could be possible, too. She could be looming.
Mm-hmm. Nope. We're good. I think we're good.
Yeah, we're fine.
We mentioned it, and because it was BOW, Tom Heisman of the Scumbag Army and Youth Gone Wild will be taking on Buddy Roberts Jr. in a singles match. Yeah. So will BOW have a factor in that match?
I think it's possible. I mean, we saw what happened last month when these two teams faced off with each other. Ended up one guy was handcuffed to the ropes. The other guy was pretty much graffitied, and that was when it was 2-on-2, 3 if you include Flywheel. What do you do now when it's 4-on-2? Or does Nuke interject himself because he's, they're friends and stuff? You know, he also got to keep in mind, like, I mean, listen, I can't tell Nuke how to do his job, but once you get owners and stuff who, you know, side with one over the other, it becomes a problem. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting, but I think Freebird's going to start making some friends in the back. I mean, come on now. I've said this to you multiple times and hasn't helped, but who knows? We'll see. But don't be
feud.
Go on.
This feud has been going on for a long time, and I remember when it first started. Now, I won't go into details on the where and the what and the blah, 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 but it was happening right in front of me. The first blow took place right in front of me, and it was by Tom Heisman himself. So whether it was intentional or not, we don't know. After thinking about it, maybe it was intentional. Maybe that's why things are happening, and maybe that was the official first blow on purpose.
Yeah, possible. Yeah, dude, it's a wild concept how far something has come from where it is to where it is right now. And don't be surprised if you see the Jackets and the Rings make a second appearance at Rocket Pro Wrestling, you know, because we know where they're at, we know who has them, and they can pop up at any minute.
Oh, I have it on good authority that they go to sleep with those Jackets and Rings.
I believe that.
I've heard stories. Tom Heisman's a little weird.
I could tell. Yeah. That makes sense.
Don't deny it, buddy. I know what you do. Speaking of interesting things, we have an interesting triple threat match taking place, and it is for number one contendership for the Outer Limits Championship. It's Sam Knight, Rozzy, and Skylar Reed.
You sure it's not Sam Nye, as Tony Gabagool has said countless times?
Hey, Gabagool.
Yeah. Huge Rocket Pro fan there, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, it's a nice opportunity to get back into the title picture. You know, he had an opportunity to get the briefcase. He teamed with Stone and didn't have much luck. This is his opportunity now to get back into a title picture. Granted, it may not be the title he was hoping for when he entered that ladder match, but you know, a title's still a title here in the professional wrestling business. So
it's true.
Yeah.
Let's see, make sure I didn't skip anything. They did jump a little. All right. So, we have a tag team title. Our tag team title number one contender match. It is Ryan Matthews, the Careless Hat, and Maximus O'Moron of Undeniable taking on question mark.
You know, and it's hard to really pinpoint who this is, especially when you look at who Nuke has announced as opponents for people. I mean, Joe Hendry versus Marcy Rocket, Shelley versus Maximus Orion. Yeah, the idea now is well, who the hell does he have to go up against? You know, Maxi Moron and the Careless Hat. People can go safe and they can say the Coyotes. We haven't seen them in a while. Maybe this is their big return. But you can say the same thing with No Coast. Hadn't been around in a while. Last time they were here, they got cheered by the fans. Maybe turn over a new leaf. You know, it could be them. It could be somebody we haven't seen. Maybe Dysfunction. You know, maybe Sabotage reunites for one night in Rocket Pro Wrestling. You know, maybe we see, the two workhorses who are still working together. I mean, sky's the limit. You know, it's just a toss-up. Now, we talked about it. You know, the Giggle sister mentioned, it could be possibly you. But without, your suspension being lifted, that doesn't seem like the possibility. You know? So
I'll confirm this. I am still suspended.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's and we're talking about Monday, the week of the show. And I'll be honest with you, Nubby, and I don't want to break your heart and everything. If you haven't heard by now, you're probably not going to hear by Saturday, you know? So it's just one of the things, like, it's you typically kind of know what's going on. But if it is, hey, awesome. But like I said, dude's been, the sole owner of Rocket Pro Wrestling for the better part of 3 weeks now. And if he hasn't made that call yet or scheduled a meetup with you yet, chances are, he may have not got around to it, and I don't see it happening in the next 5 days. So,
like I said earlier, we've talked. We have not met up since the resolution, but we've talked. And then the only thing I can confirm to everybody right now is, again, I am still suspended.
Yeah.
Maybe by Shamrock Showdown, it could be lifted. I don't know, but the one thing I do know is that this show is set. I have my ideas on who the team is, and it was actually kind of mentioned on the LIM podcast. And looking at the flyer, it matches.
Who did they say?
Rion and Joseph Von Jaeger. If you look at that flyer, it fits. The size of the one guy, the hair on the other.
We should have asked Rion why he was still on here.
He wouldn't have told us.
It's also possible maybe he never would have known too.
But the other factor is, and this would be typical RPW, LIM.
What, teaming? Who from the LA? Wait, think it's gonna be Pax and Double J getting out there, throwing on some spandex and hoping for the best?
Or, well, we know Double J has wrestling, experience. Maybe not so much of a professional, but it could still work.
Yeah,
in the pro wrestling. But maybe Gabagool wants his titles that bad that he's willing to get in that ring and fight.
I'm gonna tell you right now, brother. If I'm sitting there, probably second row, maybe front row, I don't know, eating my corn dog, and I hear LIM fucking music play, or all my life I'm in over the top. I don't know what I do, and all I know is I don't want to stop. I'm leaving. I'll whip my half-eaten corn dog covered in mustard into the fucking ring. Hopefully it hits Pacman in the back of the fucking head, blinds the motherfucker, and then I'm going home. So, goes absolutely fucking out. I do not need a shock and all, like, oh my God. No, absolutely fucking not. And that's another thing too. And listen, I get that there's the nuke factor of shock and awe and everything. If you really want to mess up the undeniable, don't stick the LIM in there. Absolutely not. Find somebody who's a worthy contender, somebody who has ring experience, who has the ability to get in that ring and fight for what you're looking for. And I'm going to tell you right now, the LIM ain't it. Absolutely not. God, I hope not.
Never know.
Again, yeah, you never say never, but I'm going to say never on this one. Just like, if you listen to anything I say at all, Nuke, Rocket Pro Wrestling, not that. Like, just not that one. No, get me the fucking twin turbos from Windy City for all I fucking care. Pull Willie and Jazz in and Soul touches it up for one more time. I don't give a fuck. Not the LIM. Not those dumpster fires of women-hating motherfuckers. And I say that not because I believe they truly hate women, but based on the opinion of Gabagool didn't allow the only woman in the LIM to have an opinion. So,
yeah. I'll say this. Me and Nuke, when I was GM, I would go to him about some ideas, because going to Saint is like talking to a wall.
Mm-hmm.
I have better conversations with a wall, honestly.
Well dressed wall though.
Have you seen my wall?
That's the word, bro.
The one thing we both agreed on is to get the tag team division fired up.
Yes.
And I left him my tag team book. So maybe he'll use my book to bring in tag teams.
That'd be awesome. Women's wrestling and tag teams is something that lacks in wrestling, and they need more of both.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see Saturday who's going to face Maximus and the Careless Hat.
And I hope they whoop their ass. That's all I can say.
Oh, yeah. I want the Golden Boy to get fucked up again, especially now that I know he screwed himself out of his own ownership, which actually makes a lot more sense now. Yeah. Good job, Golden Boy. Idiot.
And actually, he might be able to blame you because you kind of told him to do it. You kind of told him to choke her out.
Yeah, but I didn't tell her to put her in, a no verified situation. Like, listen, I mean, if you're gonna fucking, be the Undertaker, do his move right. I mean, like, yeah. I'll tell you what though, we did have a cocky little stare down. And by the way, because you lost yourself the title, I'm nixing the idea of respecting you. That's off the table now. I had respect for you, but then knowing that you could have won the match, you chose not to because you're petty as fuck. No, disrespect coming, bro. Stupid. You moron. Your outfit's dumb. I hate the way you look. You look like a skeleton fucking all hunched over. I don't know what it's called, but there's like this monster there. I think it was a werewolf. And, what's that fucking thing? You watch the Harry Potter? Harry Potter? Sirius Black when he turns into the werewolf, all hunched over and evil and shit looking? That's what Maximus fucking looks like. Bug-eyed, open-mouthed, dummy. Should have won your match, bro. Idiot. Have moron on your pants. Stupid.
No, honestly, he was more focused on trying to impress you than anything.
Most people do, yeah. Most people do. Yeah. Idiot, you moron.
That's why you're not the owner anymore.
That's right. You suck. Stupid.
Fucking
how's your championship? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Oh, no, let's keep in mind, he is still the briefcase holder.
He does have the briefcase, that's right. 100%, yeah. Yeah.
But we'll see if it ever becomes a factor. Now, speaking of titles and stuff, for the number one contender for the RPW title, we have a debuting Unchained King Brandon Day taking on All Day Marche Rocket.
Well, Marche definitely returning for a big opportunity here. Obviously, previous match in RPW, Joe Hendry took a month off, and now he is one match away from facing Michaels for the title. So I think he's gonna give it all he's got in this one. I don't know too much about the debuting start, but I do know Marche Rocket, and I know he has a little bit of an attitude going forward. Who knows if what he's doing in CSW is a reflection of his new attitude? But hell, it's Rocket Pro Wrestling, and when people aren't cheering for Gunner Brave, they're cheering for Marche Rocket. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with him picking up the win here.
Or me.
Fucking Nubbies, yeah, when he's not being suspended or fired because of pettiness, yeah, that's everything true.
Petty ass bitches.
Fuck yeah, idiot, moron, dumbass.
Well, that is the card for Rocket Pro Wrestling's Cupid Carnage this Saturday, February the 8th, 700 Theodore Street, Joliet, Illinois. Doors open at 4 p.m., bell time 5 p.m. Front row $25, intermission $20. See you there, maybe. I might be going just for the Thin Mints and leaving.
I really want that corn dog. We do have Brew City, we do have Emerged, and we do have Rocket Pro Wrestling and Dreamwave.
ARW.
What did I say?
You said Rocket Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, we do have Rocket Pro Wrestling. Counts. And then we have ARW. Do we have anything for Emerge?
We have a match card.
Yeah. Yeah, let's run through that, and then I'll do Dreamwave, and then we can do Brew City and ARW to follow.
Okay. All right, cool. So we got Emerge Wrestling, Love and War, also taking place this Saturday, February the 8th, at Bartholomew County Fairgrounds. All right, thank you for that. 750 West 200S in Columbus, Indiana. Doors open at 6 p.m., bell time 7 p.m. General admission tickets are $10 in advance, $12 at the door. There is a special 4-pack for $30. Can't go wrong.
Oh, it's not bad at all.
Nah. Now, I'll just get this out of the way. Now, in the chat, I send you a video on an altercation that took place. So, there was an original championship match, which would have been Dylan Bostick, who was the champion at the time, was supposed to take on J.D. Mariani. However, now, I did not know this was a connection, but when I read the comments, when Emerge made the call to vacate the championship, I did not know what was happening until the comments, so I looked it up, and I don't know, the full-on story on what happened with Janela and Dylan as a whole. I've heard, I've read stories here and there, but because of the legal, as they put it, legal circumstances beyond their control, they had to vacate the title. But they are supposed to crown a new champion this Saturday. We don't know how it's going to happen. We don't know what's going to take place. But there will be a new champion crowned this weekend. So with that said, as for the rest of the card, as announced today, it was Cole Radrick taking on Ace Perry. For the Outbreak title, we got Aaron Williams taking on Matt Dizzle, the champion. Women's title, we have Marty Bell, the champion, taking on lovely Miss Larkin.
There we go. We haven't talked about her on a match card in a minute.
Yeah. The promos, though, still watch them.
Dude, it's hard to get over the ketchup thing. I don't know what the hell it is. Like, I don't love cake as much as that fucking woman loves ketchup. I love cake.
Yeah.
All types of cake. All cakes. All cakes.
Yeah. Now I want some cake.
God, cake is worth it. Love
it
cake.
is.
Oh, yeah, cake.
Yeah. In a 3-on-2 handicap match, Portrait of Perfection and Kenny Cage will be taking on Hadley and Ripley. Although there could be some Rippy going on, who knows?
Could be, who knows?
Jason Hotch will be taking on Braden Lee. Dylan Cole will be taking on Lord Crew. And Swamp Funk will be taking on the Renaissance.
Swamp Funk.
Yeah, that's some funky swamp. And that is the match card for Emerge Wrestling Love and War. This Saturday, February the 8th at the Bartholomew. You say the word. I can't say it.
Bartholomew.
I don't know why I can't say it.
County Fairgrounds.
County Fairgrounds. 750 West 200S, Columbus, Indiana. Doors open at 6 p.m. Bell time 7 p.m. General admission tickets in advance, $10. $12 at the door. 30-pack or 4-pack for $30. 30-pack for $4. That would have been an interesting treat.
Oh yeah. They really want you to be there.
Yeah.
They really want you to be there. For $12, you could fill the arena.
There you go.
There you go. Awesome. Cool. All right. Also this Saturday, February the 8th, Dreamwave returns with Famous Last Words. It's going to be live at the Casey Club 209 Gooding Street in LaSalle, Illinois. Pre-show meet and greet is going to start at 4. It's going to go to 5 o'clock in the lobby/parlor level of the venue. Main show doors will open up at 5 p.m. following the meet and greet. Bell time to be 6 o'clock. Expectations for the duration of the show, roughly about 3 hours. You can watch the show live on demand exclusively on IWTV because just like Dreamwave shows, it is sold out. So, if you do decide to watch it on live on IWTV, you're going to see matches like Maggie Lee taking on Brittany Brooks. Dreamwave Championship, Women's Championship will be on the line. Maggie looks to retain her title against Brittany Brooks. Also, you're going to see Connor Hopkins taking on Christian Rose. So Coyote versus Coyote for Connor Hopkins' Dreamwave Championship. And this match is a dog collar match.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's right. You're just chaining 2 coyotes together.
That's animal cruelty a little bit there.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Well, hey, Dreamwave can do what they want. And it's also famous last words. What's your famous last words? Animal cruelty. Dreamwave alternative title will be in a 4-way match to determine the winner. It's going to be current champion Marcus Mathers taking on Gringo Loco, Myron Reed, and Rafael Quintero.
Nice.
We know him from CSW. We talk about him a lot. He's making his way down to Dreamwave, hoping to obtain an alternative title.
He deserves, if anything, to be the next WWE ID. Someone give him one.
I think you give him some. I think you give him time. He definitely will. Rebecca J. Scott, who is the current Uprising Alternative Champion, will be defending her title against Becca. That's B3 CCA. Dreamwave Tag Team Championship match as the Hype will defend their titles against the new guys. We'll see Joe Alonzo taking on Vic Capri.
Ooh.
Channing Thomas going one-on-one with Sean Logan. And Jay Fowler going up against Bruce Hamilton.
Damn.
That's a thick matchup right there. And all these are happening.
Meaty men smacking me.
Big meaty men smacking me. All these matches are available at Famous Last Words Dreamwave show this Saturday out in LaSalle, Illinois. Go to DreamwaveWrestling.com. Pick up, just get your information because, like I said, sold out. Can't do it. But you can watch it on IWTV. And I believe IWTV is like what, $10 a month?
Yeah,
$9.99 or something like that. So
some shit like that.
Yeah. So check out IWTV if you haven't had a chance to do so, and catch Dreamwave live this Saturday if you're in the LaSalle area.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, Nubby, it's on you, brother. Brew City, what we got?
Oh, I thought you were taking it.
Why would I take Brew City?
Because that was your name's on the. You were on the list for it.
I'm gonna strongly disagree on that. Is it?
I thought it was you.
Is it me? Hey, I tell you what. Let's go find out. Because I thought it was you.
No.
Well, hell's bells? What are we even doing here? Brew City's Pacman.
Oh.
Thanks, Pax. It's okay. I can look it up here. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so Brew City. We got Brew City Wrestling Vindication. Your favorite stars of Brew City Wrestling will be in action February 8th this Saturday in Waukesha, Wisconsin. You'll see Brew City. Let's see if I need information here. Okay. February 8th. Okay, Brew City, first off, you need more legible flyers. This is insane. Brew City. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, Lord. February 8th, 2025. Doors open at 6:45. Bell times at 7:30. Food and drinks provided at the bar because they're at the Elk Lodge, 400, 2301 Springdale Road in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Front row seats, $25. Pre-sale general admission, $18. Regular general admission is $20. Day of the show. For online pre-sale tickets, you can find the info and stuff at brewcitywrestling.com. Let's see here. Look at some of these matches here. Looks like we got Jack Cyrus going up against Freak Show Thriller Salem Crane. You're going to have one-man Riot Squad Gunner Ricks taking on the return of Chucky Bates. Fans bring a weapon match as former WWE superstar Swaggle goes one-on-one with Mouth of the Midwest JP. Yeah, there you go. Wait, hold on a second. Wait, let me see if I got more. Brew City Wrestling Heritage Championship is all day. Roy Zay St. James will be taking on Apex athlete CJ Cole. Oh, okay. This is our Apex out there. Who knew? Who would have thought? A second Apex. Probably not the Apex I know. Well, it's definitely not the Apex I know. The Apex I know is awesome. Love that dude. Those are what I see right now. Okay, yeah. So those are the matches I see here. Let me double check. I'm going to double check their event real quick. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Yep, we talked about the Salem Crane taking on Jack Cyrus. We talked about Chucky Bates taking on Gunnar Wicks. CJ Cole taking on Roy Zay St. James. Tag Team Championship rematch for the Rise to Honor. From Rise to Honor, it's Evil Steppas taking on the Caribbean Arrogance. Arrogance taking on Nick Colucci and Kayvon Lee. And those are all the matches for this Saturday. Brew City Wrestling presents Vindication up at the Waukesha Elk Lodge 400. Get their doors open at 6:45. Match cards at 7:30. Or match starts at 7:30.
Sweet.
And if you guys didn't like the way I did that, play Pacman.
Yeah, should have been here.
Should have been back, but he's too busy siding with his idiot friends who don't allow women to have their own opinion. So.
Yep.
And that's not me spewing bullshit. Just based on what I saw on their show. Go check out the Lovely Intoxicated Men on YouTube. Tell you what, anyone over here who listens to this show, head on over to the Lovely Intoxicated Men's YouTube channel, pull up their latest episode. I believe it's called The Undesirables or whatever the fuck they want to call it. And then once you get to the point where you hear Tony Gabagool tell a woman not to have an opinion, I just want you to comment at the bottom, for shame. FORSHAME. Or tisk tisk, TISK, or fuck yourself. Do that. That also works. Because we don't do that over here on JFW.
No.
We do not. Not one bit.
No, we don't. No.
We don't. Oh, I may say that because I know they're probably trying to use this against me. I will talk about the attractiveness of the women on the wrestling scene. I do that quite often. I myself enjoy the company of women, and I find them very attractive. And you know what? I don't apologize for talking about how hot they are because I know who I am. Judge and be judged all you want, but the people I talk about, they do kind of know me. Well, some of them. Sierra doesn't know. She is hot, but she'll also kill me. And I've accepted that. I accepted my fate if I die at the hands of Sierra. I'll die happy, but I know I'll die. And I'm okay with that. So you can sit there and call me a womanizer or how I sexualize women or whatever you plan on saying a month from now on your next podcast. It's not going to affect me. I don't care. Because you know what? People know who I am and they know that, I'm adorable. Anyways, Nubby, ARW, let's wrap up the show. What we got?
We got ARW High Energy, which is also this Saturday, February the 8th, at the Senior Activity and Multi-Purpose Center, 705 East 4th Street in Hobart, Indiana. Doors open at 6 p.m., bell time 7 p.m. General admission tickets are $15. All right, we have a segment which I might hate this more than Donovan at this point. Isaac Slate presents Slate Night.
I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. Slate Night?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what that entails.
Well, nonetheless, he's got his own show. And mind you, he is the golden ticket holder.
Oh, late night.
So it's late night.
Oh, okay. I'm like trying to figure like what the fuck? Okay. Late night. Okay. Now I'm on board. You know what? That's fucking clever. I don't think indie company needs a talk show, but hey, what the hell?
Well, and his first guest just happens to be the heavyweight champion, Greg Glover. Now again, Slate is the golden ticket holder. Could this be a setup?
I think so.
But for who? Is it for him to take the title from Greg Glover? Or is this a setup for Nick Diamond to get the upper hand because Nick Diamond is going one-on-one with Greg Glover for the heavyweight title on this event?
Could it be both? There's a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people attacking each other and hoping for the best. I don't know. I don't know a lot about Slate, but you know what? How often do we see a golden ticket or something cashed in the next day? I know we saw a briefcase from time to time in WWE. I think that's happened at least twice. I know. Hell, we saw a couple of them cash in that night. Golden ticket.
Donovan did it.
That's true. We saw. Okay, so you know what? Stand corrected. It could happen. We could see it cash in a month later. Who knows? That's impressive. Yeah, you're right. I totally forgot that idiot did it.
Well, because he's an idiot and we forget about him.
Yeah, he's stupid. Yeah. He was up in Frontline, right?
He was at Frontline. He was at CSW, which I beat his ass in. So
yeah. Fuck that guy, idiot.
Without ropes.
Yeah, you did. Hell yeah.
I slapped the shit out of him.
Hell yeah.
So that's happening. And then Brendan Balling will be taking on Quinn Whittick. That should be fun. Brendan Balling's a rising star, and Quinn at this point I'd say he's at that status, so we'll see what happens.
Well, he is currently a member of AFA, too.
Yes, he is. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, so we still don't know what it is. I'm assuming it's always fucking around, so.
Or always fucking anal.
Always fucking anal. That's 100% true, too. Yeah, so that's the thing, too. It's like, where does Quinn stand as far as his future at ARW? It's like, is he still going to continue to be that solo rising star against his opponent while being in a group? Or does now he kind of put himself on autopilot knowing that he has a group behind him that's going to back him?
That'd be true. Let's see. So, speaking of groups, for the tag team titles, we have the family taking on Pestilence of Joey Dalton and Christian Torjan.
Oh, okay.
That should be fun. For the Indiana State title, we have Josh Moon, the champion, taking on Eric Schultz.
Hey, good opportunity for Eric. I mean, recently lost the title, hoping to gain one back.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of time watching Nick Diamond walk around being champion. Maybe it's time for him to have some gold as well.
Yeah, and I think as much as I want to punch Eric sometimes, I think he's a better champion than Nick Diamond. Yep, I said it.
Ooh, you slain that faction?
I'm going to slay that faction. And now we have just announced an hour ago or so.
Oh, okay, dang.
Yeah.
Thank God this show went longer than expected.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We have two, not one, but two triple threat matches.
Okay.
And the winners of each match will face each other one-on-one in March for number one contendership for the Indiana State Championship.
Okay.
In one match, you have Danger Mask, Dumbass Donovan, and Ivan Manson.
Oh, okay. Dang.
And then the other match, we have, which one is that? Georgie Mash of the Mash Brothers, Jay Thunder, and James Creed.
Can you imagine seeing AFA going up against the program? Seeing Ivan versus Thunder?
I would love to see Ivan versus Thunder.
That'd be great, right?
Oh,
I mean,
that would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't, rule out Creed, but I mean, come on, man, that Thunder Ivan match will be fire in March. I mean, I'm predicting it. Next month when we cover ARW, we're gonna cover an Ivan versus Thunder match. I'm calling it now.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
Fuck yeah. And we're going to find out which team really matters, AFA or the program.
Yeah, that is. I hope that is a thing. I really want to see that match.
It'd be a good fucking match, man. 100%. Yeah. Hell yeah. So wait, I know ARW listens to the show. They'll be like, huh. Yeah, I hope that happens too. I hope that happens as well. You put it out into the universe, and then shit happens. So we'll see.
And that is ARW High Energy. It's this Saturday, February 8th at the Senior Activity and Multipurpose Center, 705 East 4th Street in Hobart, Indiana. Doors open at 6 p.m., bell time 7 p.m. General admission tickets, $15. Get them while they're hot.
Before we wrap up, say our goodbyes and everything, there were two things you said you wanted to bring up at Poww Entertainment. I know of one of them. So before we talk about the one I know of, what's that second one that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I wonder if we want to talk about.
Yeah, we are. I think we are.
But the one thing, we do have new tag team champions in the Bad Hombre Cartel. I don't like them very much, but congratulations on them for winning the tag team titles.
Yeah, I mean, they just came back, like November, December?
Yeah, at Wrestle Rage. They came together at Wrestle Rage, and then they just started getting, collecting their shit, and they just won the titles.
Yeah, so okay, congratulations to them. The biggest thing, though, I know what we're going to talk about, so I'll start out with this. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Is that a legal binding agreement in the world here? Because if it is, I guess I just run around and start stealing people's shit and claiming it as my own too.
Yeah, right. I mean, people do it nowadays. They go into real retail stores and steal anything, and it's okay. But how do you claim to be the best in wrestling if you can't even win your match? And because you couldn't win your match, you just steal the title and act like you won something.
Yeah. That's the definition of petty. And that's exactly what Hedford did, because he wants to sit there and brag that he now manages a Poww champion. Fuck no. No. Absolutely not. So they can say what they want, but that title is not theirs. And it's better that they're in fucking hiding or whatever they're doing. Maybe, don't post pictures of you and your girlfriend out on your anniversary eating dinner, because the champ's going to fuck you up. So.
And what's crazy is the night Mason Pertz won the title, the Reckoning lost their match, and dipshit Hedford got smacked around by his own daddy.
Oh, yeah.
So, fuck you, Hedford. And kiss my ass in that fucking comment you made about my gimmick.
And that's such a low-hanging fruit thing. Like, if you had $1 for as many times as somebody said you ripped off the Mutant Ninja Turtles, you probably would never need to fucking work again.
Right.
It's like people want to say just like, oh, you ripped off. No, it's like, or you look at it as like you're paying tribute to something you fucking enjoyed as a child.
Right. I mean, I make it my own. Do I call myself Raphael, Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo?
Fuck no.
No.
See, that's a low-hanging fruit thing, And I expect nothing less from the fucking mouth breather himself. I mean, he looks like Sid, all grown up from Toy Story and shit. And I get it. He found somebody who's into that kind of dopey look and shit, and I can respect that. But, dude, just like the LIM, if you're going to come at somebody, come out with something unique, something different, something that's not over fucking played. Gross. Jackass. Yeah. Hell, you know what? I think I did invite him on this show, and he never showed up.
Right.
So, hey, I'll send you the invite again, man. Next time there's a Poww show, come on here. I'll let you run through the card. I'll let you say your piece. Otherwise, fuck yourself, dopey. Idiot. You and Maximus, you idiots. Morons.
And for someone who, steals a gimmick, I get pops, bitch.
Fucking Nubby gets pops. Hell
What
yeah.
do you get? Nothing.
Fucking just nothing but booze and stuffed up noses to make him breathe through his mouth. Idiot.
Mm-hmm.
You and your
Dumbass.
stupid fucking suits and shoes. Moron. Wearing
That was
glasses
story.
inside. Stupid. Nubby, anything else wrestling related you want to talk about?
Yeah, a couple Royal Rumble notes.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, brother.
So, actually, I'm gonna start with the asshat known as Carl, referee from ARW. You dumb idiot. And yes, I'm calling you a dumb idiot because I know you listen to the show.
Stupid idiot. You moron. Dumbass.
You aligned yourself with Dave Allen, who's the biggest user in wrestling today. I would know. I was used. Hello, I was his butler for a day. I was used and abused, so I know. So Carl said this, and you might agree with half of it.
Yeah, let's see.
But I didn't dispute it either. So,
I know.
for the record, Curtis Axel and Tozawa have not been eliminated from the Rumble. I agreed with half of that because Curtis Axel did enter the Rumble and disappeared, but was not thrown over the top rope.
He never entered the ring. Dude, if you really want to, okay, so think about this, because I did go back and I started watching some of the Royal Rumbles and shit. I think I got from the first one up until Austin's second one. And when you look at the rules of the Royal Rumble, they've changed over the years. Prime example was there was one year where Jake the Snake came out with this snake, threw the snake into the ring. Andre eliminated himself. And they said, well, Andre just eliminated himself. Then, a year later, Randy Savage enters the Royal Rumble, attacks Jake the Snake, jumps over the ropes, chased Jake the Snake away. But because he was not eliminated by anybody, he did not eliminate himself. So he was able to go back into the Royal Rumble and finish the match. And then a few years later, Ahmed Johnson eliminated himself from the Royal Rumble, and then he was eliminated.
They do tend to change things a lot. I'll give you that. Because here's an example, and I actually just watched this. The time Vader came in the Royal Rumble and eliminated everybody after he got eliminated.
They allowed everyone to come back in.
Everyone to come back in.
Yeah.
But any other time you're eliminated, but you pull somebody out, that person's eliminated.
Hulk Hogan did that to us. Okay, Ric Flair, that's a bad example. Good example of what you said, though. Ahmed Johnson came into the ring, knocked Farouk out, and Farouk was eliminated. And that's the same one that Ahmed Johnson eliminated himself earlier in. So the rules just don't apply. And if he really wants to go down that route, okay, that's fine. What happened when Nia Jax attacked R-Truth a couple years back?
So he brought that up because he's trying to contradict what I said. Yeah. So to provide more context, so yes, Curtis Axel, you just said it. He never officially got in.
Yeah.
Okay, so but was he replaced?
No.
He was not replaced. Tozawa was.
With speed, yeah.
So to say that he was not officially eliminated is wrong because he was not an official entrant anymore.
Yeah.
So this dork, Carl, tried to say, by my logic, that R-Truth never officially entered the Rumble according to my rules of it, because he messed this all up. But he never officially entered the men's, but was eliminated in the women's. And my logic doesn't hold water. First of all, his didn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Hearing it and reading it. My logic has nothing to do with our truth issue.
What he's doing is he's having a mark.
Well, he is one.
He's relaying information out there like a fucking mark. It's like, I'm sorry, in my opinion, if you don't enter the ring during the Royal Rumble, you're not entered into the Royal Rumble. Again, there were matches back then that, you know, they got to like number 13, number 16 or whatever, and nobody fucking showed up. They never questioned it. They never gave an answer for it. It just didn't happen. So you're telling me those people are also still in the fucking Royal Rumble?
There's a good one.
Yeah.
Ashton Booger, 1994.
Yeah. So it just shit like that just doesn't make sense. Like, hey, listen, if you want to go out there and you want to say, well, Curtis Axel and Tozawa are still officially, hey man, live your best fucking life. But when people tell you you're wrong, don't sit there and try to fucking justify it as if it's fact, because it's not. It does not work that way. You know?
But like I said, Curtis Axel, there could be a case. Tozawa, no, because he was officially replaced. Sorry, Carl, you're a dumbass. Haha.
Moron, idiot.
Join
dumbass.
The other morons. Join Donovan and the Workhorses and Maximus O'Ryan.
Yeah.
Because they're all fucking morons.
Yeah, idiot, moron, dumbasses. I should put that on a shirt. Idiot, moron, dumbasses, stupid. There we go. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
And but speaking of Royal Rumble, obviously Jey Uso, huge surprise. Wasn't expecting that. Me personally, I know who I predicted. Me personally, I'd prefer Drew McIntyre and Finn Balor. I think either one of those. I think if Drew won, taking on Cody Rhodes would have been fantastic, or Finn getting his justice after the Universal title. I think that would have been great. Jordan Grace being announced as an official member of WWE. Now, is she going to NXT? I think she's staying main card.
Yeah, I think so too.
Trish made a return, which was pretty cool. Alexa Bliss came back. And then, of course, the surprise entrant that everyone knew about, we all predicted it, Charlotte Flair. So she's going to WrestleMania. I think she's going to face Tiffany Stratton. But we'll see who she picks. I believe she's on Raw tonight, as well as Jey Uso. Who knows if Jey is going to stick and try to take on Gunther again, or will he go on and face Cody Rhodes? We don't know. Huge ladder match. What's up?
I was going to say, you mentioned Drew.
Yeah.
Did you see that shit about him crying, getting all pissy?
I heard something happened, but I don't know what happened. But the guy I worked with was like, oh, Drew got pissed and he got eliminated early. Like, I didn't. What was he talking about?
So apparently he was eliminated earlier than he was supposed to. Now he's trying to blame people for getting their shit in. And I'm thinking he's talking about LA Knight and Logan Paul and maybe even Damian Priest at that point, because he was the one that eliminated him. So I watched the footage, and what I seen was Logan Paul getting the crowd going. Now, if they weren't supposed to do their shit yet, that might be on them. But at the same time, as a professional, if you know you have a spot coming up while something else is happening, you hold the fuck off.
Yeah.
That was all Drew's fault at that point, because you decided that it was okay to run your shit while the crowd was focused on Logan Paul and LA Knight. You're taught as a professional wrestler in all situations, listen to the crowd, watch what is happening, especially in a Rumble. I mean, you're not supposed to be doing crazy shit when there's a lot of people in the ring anyway.
Yeah.
But if you have something planned, you have to make sure there's room. There was definitely no room going in to your part. Once you should have stayed where you were until they finished what they were doing, even if it wasn't supposed to happen then.
100%.
Pay attention. You're a pro. Quit your bitching. You are becoming what you hate. And that is a CM Punk of when he's a bitch. You're becoming him.
If you want to look at a positive professional point too, unrelated to Drew, but in the women's Royal Rumble, when Valkyria had her wardrobe malfunction, good on Liv Morgan to have the wherewithal to knock her down so she could get some help. That's pretty cool. That's some wherewithal there. I mean, obviously, I feel bad for her, the malfunction. I mean, she got the move off. It looked fucking good. She obviously trying to hold her own, like trying to keep her top up and everything. But good on Liv, showing a little professionalism and hey, let me get you knocked down so you can, go get the help. So, ladder match was brutal. I mean, I think they ended it pretty nicely. I believe they may be angling towards maybe a Cody, Sami Zayn match, maybe Elimination Chamber. Probably not on WrestleMania, but maybe Elimination Chamber. But I guess it all kind of depends too, because if Jay picks Gunther, that means Cody's going to defend that title in the Elimination Chamber. Or I'm sorry, no, the number one contender, the winner of the Elimination Chamber faces Cody at WrestleMania. Never mind. Yeah. So that's going to be unique to see. I can see Sami winning that and facing Cody at WrestleMania, because the way it looks now is, if they go based on tradition, Jay is going to face his pick on night 2's main event, which I'm going to say it's going to be Gunther. I don't see him facing Cody for any reason. I see it being Gunther, and I think it's going to be very similar to the whole Sami Zayn concept against Gunther. I keep losing to you. I finally get to WrestleMania. It unfortunately sounds like they're reusing some old fucking storyline. So we'll see. But it's going to be a good match. It looks like they're setting up Roman and Seth for WrestleMania. I'm going to guess that we're probably going to see, maybe a Logan Paul CM Punk match at WrestleMania. So maybe Priest and McIntyre, or maybe Priest does go over to SmackDown and wrestle Cody for that belt or something. Maybe he gets himself into the Elimination Chamber. Because honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Cody lose the title to Drew and, them having a couple matches. I think that'd be great. So AJ's back. Old music. So that's exciting. I mean, he's one of my favorite guys. I would love to see him in the Elimination Chamber, stay healthy, and, show up as he does. So
get one more title run.
Yep. Joe Hendry was in there, and my guess is I didn't see social media anywhere. But my guess is the LIM probably will post something out there like, oh, look, Joe Hendry shows up at Rock Pro Wrestling, and now look at him on, the Royal Rumble or some shit, because why not try to take credit for all his hard work, so. But Rumble was good. Ended up, what was it? Me and Pax tied for first. You and Jay tied for third. So.
Cool.
There we go. Cool. Hey, cool. Anything else wrestling related?
I believe we covered everything today.
Perfect. Okay, so next week we're going to cover the results for all these match cards we ran through, and I believe the only show next week that I have listed is Backbreaker Wrestling. So there's probably more, but as I have right now, from what I see right now, is Backbreaker Wrestling. So there may be more added, but that's what we have right now. We'll cover the results of these shows that we covered today, and then we'll cover Backbreaker and any other shows that may pop up. So, guys, make sure you continue to listen to us where you pick up audio. If you want to watch the show, you can do so over at the YouTube channel, Just Freaking Wrestling on YouTube. But subscribe, hit the notification bell, rate reviews wherever you do decide to pick up the show and listen or watch it. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just by search Just Freaking Wrestling or the JFW Podcast. And, Nubby, that's all I got.
I believe we can ring that bell on this episode.
Thanks, Tom. Perfect. As always, I'm Travis.
And I am not Tom. I am Nubby, the Amazing Turtle, Cowabunga, the Faction Slayer, of course.
And thank you for listening to the episode of Just Freaking Wrestling, the JFW Podcast.